Welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame with your hosts, Mike Sautter and Jacob Padilla.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Mike Sautter, Jacob Padilla here for Nebraska Preps Postgame.
Yep, that's the name of the show.
That's the name, yeah. I don't know why I didn't. Yeah. Nebraska Preps Postgame. Jacob Padilla, Mike Sautter here. We're going to run down everything that happened last week in high school basketball. And really, there was one major event, the biggest, I guess, event is the Heartland Hoops Classic, which you were at the whole day.
I was, yeah.
I was not.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a lot of you right here, outside of what I kind of saw or read.
Yeah. So feel free to ask questions or offer thoughts on what the results of these mean moving forward. But yeah, let's run through the slate because there was a lot out there, a lot of really good teams. My question is, how many state champions did I watch on Saturday?
Probably a handful. I will say this. I was very disappointed when I knew the schedules lined up, because I love going out there. I've been there basically every year, and I love that event. It's fun, and it gives an opportunity to see unique matchups. Yep. And I was kind of disappointed in myself for not being able to make it, but that's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Anyway. You can't control Nebraska basketball schedule.
Correct. That's what I tell my wife all the time. Hey, I don't make the schedule. I have to be there when they play or when stuff happens. So
that's working in sports.
Yeah,
it's kind of got to do what you got to do. But I was there all day, and
you want to start from the top?
Let's start from the top and run through the day because we had some fantastic, the headliners lived up to the hype in the night session, but had some really good ones too to start the day. And starting off with Grand Island Lutheran, Jeremiah Slough out there doing a great job with them. 51-49 win over Wallace. So those are two top 10 teams in D2 heading into the week, and it was down to the wire. They were up. Lutheran was up 7 with a minute to play, and they allowed Wallace to get back into it. Missed some free throws and gave up a 4-point play, which you never want to. They're sitting in the zone. Yeah. They come down, just screen the top, and kid gets around behind late and hits him as he pulls up for the three and hits it. So that gave them a shot. Yeah, and so they got the ball back, got a chance, and this time call a timeout, set it up. They were flying around. They got out to everybody. They took everything away, and they ended up having to just force up a floater, off balance floater that didn't go down. So Lutheran was able to hold on to win there. But man, they've got some size for a D2 team. They go 6'4", 6'6" in the front court, both underclassmen.
Also, I was gonna say they're a young team. Yeah. So they're gonna be coming here. Yeah.
Yeah, and the star of the day was Luke Olson, sophomore, 6'6", 19 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks, 4 steals, 8 of 13 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3.
Pretty good game.
Yeah, Coach Lau has said, hey, he his game is shooting, and he hasn't shot the ball great this year, but he's learning how to do the big man stuff. And once he really gets even more comfortable with that, to kind of round out his game, 6'6" sophomore already, putting up a game like that, he's got a chance to be really good for them. So that was fun seeing that. Colt Franklin was the best player for Wallace, had 20 points, 11 rebounds. Kind of an undersized big, but he's just really physical and did a great job pivoting, pump faking, muscling through contact inside, and had a great game for them. So it's a good way to start the day, go down to final possession there in game one. And I know Jeremiah taking over there, the school kind of rename, different situation there, but I think he's doing a good job there with them, like you said, really young. So that'll be a team that I'm sure we'll hear from down the line over the next couple of years.
Yeah. Then game 2, Howells-Dodge, St. Mary's, 2 number ones and really good teams, and 2 teams that very much so could win a state championship in their respective classes in D1 for Howells-Dodge and D2 for St. Mary's. I had someone that was at the game and may or may not have been a referee, text me after the game saying, I don't think I've seen a better Class D1 team than Howells-Dodge, or at least in a long time. And I'm like, yeah, they're very good.
Yeah. And I came away from that game, for most of the game, thinking the same thing about St. Mary's. I'm just watching, hey, there's nobody in D2 that has this mix of playmaking. You had Lane Bybee, the DCS transfer there, giving them an interior presence, a catch and finish, running pick and rolls with those guards, and just kind of their ability to make plays off the dribble individually from basically everywhere. But their one Achilles heel, I think, is what popped up and allowed Howells-Dodge to take control of this game. It ended up being a 68-56 final. The score, it doesn't totally indicate how that game went because it was
close, basically.
It was 53 all early in the fourth quarter. So tie game, like anybody's game, and then Howells-Dodge went on a 15-0 run to put that game away. And a lot of it came down to, I thought, St. Mary's shot selection. Just didn't, like they got into the mode where Gage Hedstrom was really hunting shots. They didn't really they weren't patient. They weren't running their offense really. They didn't hit perimeter shots, and so that's kind of what happened there. Is just as the run went on longer and longer, the shots they tried to get it all back in one shot. They got more rushed and sped up, and Howells-Dodge was able to take advantage of that. But I think ultimately St. Mary's will be fine, but that is something that they'll have to be cognizant of. We'll see once they get into the D2 posting if there's anybody that can hold them to the degree that Howells-Dodge did, which I don't know if that'll be the case.
Well, they're also likely going to play Elgin Public Pope John like 3 more times. So at least 2 maybe. Yeah. I think their sub-district is the same too. Oh, wow. So I think they're in the same. That would make sense because it's geographic.
Yeah.
But yeah. So they could play, another very good team. Be very battle-tested by the time the state tournament comes around, which I expect, St. Mary's and Elgin and Archangels to all be in there.
Yeah. Hedstrom finished with 18 points, 5 assists. Bybee added 14 points, 7-9 from the field. Again, finished almost everything. But the best player on the floor was Nathan Tomczak for Howells-Dodge. Just completely took over that game. Finished with 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 7-10 from the field, 4-7 from 3, 3-4 from the line. Only had 1 turnover. He was just making every single play for them. He didn't miss a shot in the second half. And he's the one that kind of took control of the game, again, sent up everybody else, and then he got some help. Andre Martin was big down the stretch, had 10 of his 14 points in the second half. And Chase Luther, good athlete as well. I know he didn't shoot it well from 3 in that one, but I know he's capable of that. Some huge games from the arc earlier in the season, finished with 12 points as well. So really impressive game from Howells-Dodge, especially bouncing back from a tough loss they took earlier in the week. So I think both those teams very easily. I talked about how many state champions did I see. Very well could have seen the D1 and D2 champions in that game. We'll see. Obviously, there's some other teams that are going to have something to say about that, but I think that'll be a theme as we kind of continue through the day.
Yeah, and then next was Bergan, who was, obviously they won it last year, and now back in C2, and they pretty much handled Doniphan-Trumbull.
Yeah. They won
C2 number 1 was like a good C1 team.
Yeah, and this is shortly after Bergan went and lost at Concordia, and Concordia, and Doniphan-Trumbull played a game down to the wire, like comparable teams, and so it was an impressive bounce back from Bergan, and man, they were just so good offensively. One, they were raining they're raining threes around Baker, and then you've got 6'7" senior inside, and Doniphan-Trumbull had no answer for him. He finished with 33 points, 12 rebounds, 4 blocks, 3 steals, went 14 to 17 from the field, and 4 of 5 from 3. Like they had a set play for an alley-oop in the half court. They executed really well. We got a clip of that on our social feeds. And again, stepping out, knocking down shots, going to work in the post. He was just fantastic. And overall, like, Bergan just operated at such a high level offensively. They went 7-13 from 3 in the first half alone. Shot 63% from the field in the first half. And then the difference ended up in large part being they made 9 threes and Doniphan-Trumbull only made 3. So that is a massive difference right there. So yeah, outscored by 18 points from the 3-point line and an 18-point loss. So right there, like, Doniphan-Trumbull does, like, Parker Volk's a good player. He's about 6'4" and is a jump shooter compared to Baker, who 6'7", and is a force inside. So like they weren't going to be able to hold their own if they got destroyed from the 3-point line as a smaller team. So that kind of shifted that game. Trent Molnarek added 14 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. I thought he was really good next to Baker, just muscling his way inside, just being really efficient. And then Trey Mooney running the show, 12 points, 8 assists, 3 steals. That is a really good team. Yeah. Like, again, I think the Concordia loss probably is like, all right, guys, we got to lock back in here. Like, we've had it easy for a long stretch of the season, although they did have some close wins. But, they look like a team like, hey, we're not going to let that happen again. And that's probably going to serve them well heading into the postseason as they look to go back-to-back.
Yeah, the Concordia loss is definitely a perfect storm. Yeah. Right after Centennial Conference tournament, you're on the road. It's a Tuesday night. The opposing team gets 2 of their key players back in. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's an overlook. They looked like 2 completely different teams from the 10 days apart that I saw them.
Well, and Baker was like, 1 for 10 from the field in that game?
Yes.
And so this past week he had, 61 points and like 23 rebounds in his 2 games. Like, he's an absolute monster this past week.
There's not many players in C2 that match up with him one-on-one.
No. Because he's a complete player, again, can step out and shoot. Hasn't done as much of that this year, but he's capable. Again, he hit 4 in this one. He's capable of doing that in any given game. And then his footwork, his touch around the basket, and then his size and athleticism. Again, they can throw lobs to him. He can go up and dunk. He can create his own inside. So, yeah, Baker's, I'm sure we'll be talking about him at the end of the season as we go through our award show, because definitely one of the best players in C2.
So Bergan's had 2 one-possession games all year. Mm-hmm. So Lincoln Christian in the Centennial Conference semis was 61-58. And then at Lincoln Lutheran on January 22nd was 51-48. So they basically just blown the doors off of everybody. Yeah.
Really good team.
Outside of the loss.
So. Yeah. All right, moving on. We had a C1, C2 again right after that with Adams Central and Alma, who Adams Central, obviously, they were 20th in our computer rankings going into this. They lost their best player 4 games in. That
matters.
Yeah. Hunter Nepple was a big part of why they were in the showcase, and we watched him playing it a year ago. I think that's the first time I saw him play. I don't remember if you saw him before that, but so that kind of put a damper on this matchup. But credit to Adams Central. They were 10-4, I think, after losing Nepple to kind of remain afloat. Cohen Rader, the Nebraska baseball commit junior, really stepped up and has kind of shouldered the offensive load for them to kind of keep them competitive. And they made Alma earn it. 43-39 was the final in that one. And the star of the game for Alma was Creighton Lynch, who went 4-7 from 3 in the first half with Adams Central throwing his own out there. And then in the second half, did not take a single shot until the end when he hit a dagger. That put him up, I think, about 5 or so, like with a couple minutes ago in the fourth quarter, and then they were able to hold on from there. So he finished 5 of 8 from 3 in the game. Awesome. Got to talk to him about it. And then Xavier Mitchell, one of their stars, came alive in the second half, scored all 11 of his points after halftime, added 14 rebounds. And he is their all-time leading rebounder, really good rebounder. And then Tucker Biscup, who is their, I believe, points and assist career leader.
Yep.
Had a rough game, and they still found a way to he did have a 4-point play, which was pretty cool. But outside of that, didn't do a whole lot. So they found a way to win without one of their stars going, and that's credit to Lynch for stepping up.
I thought it was pretty interesting after talking to both Creighton and to Coach Mike Ford that both of them both said, like, we've played who we've played this year, and this was a game that they really relied on for points, for seeding, for everything. Their power points are okay. Like, they could be a lot better for a team that only has 1 loss so far.
Third.
But they should be a 1-loss team in C2. You probably should be like 1 or 2 right at the top, but their sub-district might hurt them here in a little bit as well. So we'll wait to see kind of how those PowerPoints shake out for them. But I think Alma still could be one of those contenders too, or at least one of those teams that you could maybe pencil in for a semifinal. But it'll be interesting to see because Adams Central definitely put out a blueprint of how to slow them down at least.
Yeah, you have, in C2 it's UTAN, Bergan, and then Alma.
Yeah.
So you have UTAN's 2 losses are Ashland and then Syracuse. So, like, yeah, not bad. Bergan's one loss is the Concordia loss.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right, next game was Elkhorn North and Grand Island Central Catholic. Elkhorn North with a quick turnaround. Well, 3 teams, I guess. I had a quick turnaround.
Saw a couple teams play Friday night and turn around play out in Grand Island and Elkhorn North and Norris. And Elkhorn North, they went on a 10-0 run to end the first quarter and then kind of led the rest of the way. Although credit to GICC, they cut it to 7 multiple times in the second half. Like, they didn't go away until Elkhorn North kind of hit them with a finishing run, stretched the lead out to 21. But GICC, they battled. Like, they got some physical kids in there.
They do. Yeah.
Connor Haney, Thomas Birch, kind of leading the way for them. But Elkhorn North was just too efficient offensively. 50% from the field, 50% or over 50% from the field, 50% from 3. They hit 9 threes. And Grand Island Central Catholic went 1 of 14 from 3.
Yeah.
So, like, again, the 3-point line is such a massive differentiator. If one team's shooting well and the other, it's just so hard to make up that math. Like, one team hits 9, one hits 1. It's going to be a blowout in almost any occasion. So
when you have one guy that has 3 names too, tough to be able to know who you're guarding. I mean, that's impossible to be able to handle. You had Earl, Ian, all of the Beachies out there.
Yeah. There was a typo in the program. Ethan Beachy was EAN in the program.
Yep.
And somehow, I don't know how, that on Bobby Mills' sheet it was Earl. Someone told him Earl or something. Like, I don't understand, but he was calling him Earl throughout the whole first half before Austin went over and told him.
Yeah, Bobby knows better because Ethan's a quarterback.
He tracks all that football stuff. Yeah. So
that's all right.
But it was at one point, Colin Murphy's dad, like after Ethan made a 3 or made a play or something, you know, Earl. You could hear him yelling out from the crowd.
It's very fun.
It was entertaining, but his kid, Kellen Murphy, led the way, 15 points, 5 assists, was really efficient, 2 threes, 4-6 overall, good game from Nike Orgable as well with 12. So solid bounce back for the Wolves, who again 64-41 was the final on that one, but it was closer than that for about 2.5 quarters or so.
Yeah. All right. The game of the day, whatever, maybe Ogallala, Ashland-Greenwood. I will say this. Just like seeing the score, not seeing the actual game, I was like, oh, Ogallala won a game that Ashland wanted to play at their pace.
Yep.
And Ogallala won it.
Yeah.
So that just tells you how good Ogallala is.
And they did so without Lincoln Gillen, who is one of their top 3-point shooters. He sprained his knee, hyperextended his knee. He should be back for the postseason. They're hoping that he'll be fine. But
that's big.
Against Broken Bow, so he didn't play at all last week for them.
So that's what I mean. To win 56-52 against Ashland, who wanted to keep that game in the 50s, I guarantee you.
Yeah. And no Gillen. Eden Kane fouled out and didn't hardly made an impact on the game. Like, he was in foul trouble the whole game. Cy Lowry, who came in for him, who Reese Gilmer moved in the starting lineup, so that bumped Cy up to their 6th man. He fouled out as well. Wow. So they had Blake Robb had to go in and play for the last 2 minutes and 47 seconds.
And he did well.
Not playing the whole game. And, they weren't able to, like, he held up out there. And, I mean, they won a close game with him out there for the last 3 minutes or so. So credit to him, credit to them for kind of battling through that adversity. And Ogallala led by 7 after the first quarter, led by 7 at halftime. Pushed it up to 11 in the third quarter, and then Cal Kissinger took over. Went 3 for 3 from 3 in the third quarter after they were 0 for 6 from 3 in the first half as a team. And that kept them in, I believe, the 6-point game going into the fourth. And then Derek Tondras got going in the fourth quarter and managed to give them the lead. They went back and forth throughout the fourth quarter. Tondras had 9 in the fourth. But they down to Sawyer Smith gave them the lead after Ashland had tied it up, and then Tondras got fouled, 23.7 to go, down 2, ended up making the first, missing the second. And so then you had to play the foul game and all that, and Ogallala was able to close it out. But, man, that free throws are really costly, 9 of 16 as a team for Ashland-Greenwood in the 4-point loss. And, again, Tonjes was able to hit that one. Then it was a tie game. You just need to stop. Then overtime potentially. So that was a huge part of the game. And then also we talked about 3-point line. Ogallala went 6 of 13. Ashland-Greenwood 3 of 13. The three Kissinger hit in third quarter were the only ones they hit.
Yeah.
So again, that's a 9-point edge right there in a really close game. That's huge. So that's something like see these. Ashland-Greenwood needs to find a little bit more firepower around, because you look at Tonjes, you look at Cooper Westerhold. With Tonjes had 19 points, Westerhold had 14, Kissinger had 17. But Tonjes, Westerhold, they do all their damage like 15 feet and in.
Yeah.
That's and if you can't really space the floor, that gets really tough. Like
they
had to force some tough ones, or they ended up forcing some tough ones with the defense compacted down the stretch. And so they got to find a little bit more out of the backcourt, a little bit more floor spacing to keep Ogallala a little bit more honest if these two end up matching up down the line. But, man, Sawyer Smith was spectacular. 23 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. And Tanner DeCastro as well. Again, we talked about he is the difference maker.
He's a difference maker.
Because it's 7 points on 3-3 shooting, hit a 3 in the first quarter. And then defensively, he had 5 blocks, and there were, 3 of them it felt like we're down in the second half or so when like they're going to have an easy bucket, and he comes weak side over the top of his teammate and swats the shot out of bounds to prevent what would have been an easy 2. So just his ability again to provide that floor spacing, that the rim protection, and then that vertical spacing as well as a lob threat, as a catch and finish threat around the basket. He's a huge piece for them. And then Rylan Gilmore ended up with 10 points as well. So really, really impressed with Ogallala.
Yeah.
I came away like Ashland-Greenwood. They're still very much capable of competing with Ogallala. But they're going to have to elevate their game because, again, Ogallala wasn't even at full strength, and they got the win. And like you said, they won a game where, the second quarter, it completely, ground down.
Yeah.
The Ashland-Greenwood's defense really settled in, like we're used to seeing from them. But Ogallala was able to find a way to maintain that lead going into halftime. And then they kind of were able to make the plays down the stretch to win it. So Ashland-Greenwood, they've got the pieces, they've got the ability, but they're going to need a little bit more out of some certain spots, I think, in order to get over the hump again.
Two teams you very much so could see playing each other again for a state championship, unless Auburn has something to say.
That's exactly what Jacob and I were talking about. That we were like, well, obviously there's a scenario where these two teams match up again in a semifinal, but it's almost more of a, hey, if you win this game, congrats. You don't have to play Auburn probably in the semifinals.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we were talking about going in. It's like the wild card kind of implications of this. Like, where are they going to end up in those final spots there? You've got Auburn lurking there. You want to make sure that we don't get a 1-4 split with those two. You don't want 2-3. You just want to try to get those guys on opposite sides of the bracket just for the sake of kind of the integrity of a bracket and getting potentially the best teams. But like Austin said, whichever side ends up at Auburn, that's not going to be a cakewalk. They've got some good players over there, obviously.
Kozad's not terrible either.
No.
2 losses are to Ogallala.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So
by a wide margin.
Yeah. That's why it felt like so much that this game was so important to Ogallala. Like, obviously, Ashland-Greenwood, they're coming into this. Everybody that played that game wanted to prove themselves, like at the statewide stage, all that sort of stuff. But in terms of when you looked at kind of the details of it, this win for Ogallala is gigantic when they get into March because of everything we just laid out. If all seeds hold, right, as they are right now, they would rematch a team that they've beaten twice, either on the road or in a conference tournament.
Semifinal.
You feel pretty good about that, especially if you're playing it at a neutral site in Lincoln.
Right, yeah. All right, next up, Westside, probably the game of the day. Westside North Star.
Yeah, back to back
overtime.
Yeah, the C1 into this one. Again, all 3 of the night session games that we thought, these guys chance to be really good.
Yeah, and they were.
They definitely were.
Yeah.
For anybody that made their way out of Grand Island, I think you got your money's worth if you're out there for that part of the day. But, yeah, Westside pulled it out against North Star 60-52 in overtime. And interesting game. Both sides, I think, kind of were able to play to their strengths a little bit. And in the end, Westside just kind of made the decisive run in overtime to take control and were able to hold on. But I mean, Westside led by 10 late in the second quarter, but North Star rallied to tie it at 34-all heading into the fourth quarter. And it was just back and forth through the whole period. Like both sides making big plays. You got Westside making plays at the rim. You got North Star forcing turnovers in the backcourt. It was kind of back and forth. You saw both teams at their best down the stretch. But they ended up getting it. Both teams had a last shot to go for the win after it was tied late. Both came up empty, went to overtime, and then Westside started overtime with a 7-0 run, including a big three from Monte Brown, where kind of faked the pass like they left him, reset, gathered himself, and knocked it down. He had 3 threes, finished with 10 points in the game. He was huge. And North Star wasn't able to rally, falling behind by 7 in overtime. So that ended up being the game there. Jordan Castor was phenomenal. 29 points, 10 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 assists, 10 and 19 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 6 of 7 from the line. But credit to Westside. He got his, but they shot 30% from the field as a team. They locked down everybody else. And it's going to be tough for Castor to win that all by himself. Westside did turn the ball over 19 times, had to overcome that. But we saw in overtime.
North Star can forces a lot.
That's exactly right. And that's Coach Simons talked about, early on, they were just causing them all kinds of problems. In overtime, they did a better job of getting to where they needed to, advancing with the pass, and then breaking the press and attacking. And that was part of that 7-0 run, is breaking the press, getting the ball ahead, and getting easy buckets. So that was kind of how they sealed that game there, as they finally were able to break the press and attack it. So credit to London Dada for gutting things out. He's got a bit of a foot issue, didn't play in their Friday night game, but finished with 18 points, 11 rebounds, hit a big step back 3 in the second half after North Star had taken the lead in that fourth quarter, and was able to kind of gut it out. That's what Simon said. That is the word for it, for what he did out there. Didn't necessarily look like he was hurt. You couldn't see him limping necessarily, but knowing there's something there that he's playing through. It just showed his toughness, that he was able to kind of play without it really impacting his performance. And they got 11 points, 5 boards from Emery Geddick. He had 10 points from Brown, like I said. And then kind of the guy that I thought swung the game was Darian Jenkins, a sophomore. Donnie Barfield Jr. was in foul trouble the entire game, and he only played 12 minutes or so. Yeah. And then Jenkins played about 22 minutes off the bench, finished with 10 points, hit all 4 of his shots, including 2 threes, had 3 assists, and then defensively he took on those tough assignments that Barfield normally does when he's out there. So he was the one so North Star had the ball with about 30 seconds left. They were going to be able to get last possession, and he stole the ball from Castor, and Westside didn't really have enough time to get off a real shot like they did. Northside did a great job of forcing them just into a prayer at the buzzer, but that was a huge play from a sophomore in that moment to get the stop they needed to give themselves a chance to win it, or at least send it to overtime. So Jenkins was huge in that game, and that's the thing about Westside is they've got some depth. They got some guys that can come off the bench, and really, we saw Kai Frederick in the Metro Holiday Tournament. Yeah. He was a big X factor for them. They've got some different guys there that can. I mean, they play 10. They go 10 deep off that bench, for which you don't often see for a top 5 type of team. But Jim Simons trusts his depth, and Jenkins showed why that is the case in this game.
2 teams that maybe are trending, one in the right direction, one maybe in the wrong direction. That's North Star's 3rd loss in their last 4 games, and Westside's won 8 in a row now. And they have 2 to finish out. Westside has 2 games to finish out this week with Lincoln East, who's playing a lot better.
And they played them competitive the first time.
Yeah, the first time.
Beginning of the season.
So but that's at Westside on Thursday, and then they finish with Elkhorn South, who also had a big win last week.
Game winner for Charlie Bowler.
Yeah. And then North Star plays at Millard South, which I don't know, the pace of that one could be really fast. So that's how they finish out the year. So it's, North Star maybe needs that one.
I know we may touch on this after we wrap up Heartland Hoops, but I don't know if we cursed the Lincoln schools after championships.
Yeah.
But my goodness, what has happened?
We'll talk about Southwest.
I might personally be me for my one video I made. That could be my fault.
Yeah, I'm willing to let you take the blame.
They've only lost. I mean, they lost 2 of their last 4. Against good teams. Bellevue West is number 1 in the wild card points right now.
Yeah.
So
there's still 2 top 5 teams, so they'll have a chance. But definitely. As soon as we had that segment, started taking some losses.
Yeah,
but
that's all right. They'll be okay, I think.
All right, one more game to go out in Grand Island. The nightcap, another top 5 showdown. The final leg of Norris's gauntlet of a week of 2, 3, 4,
and Scottsbluff's gauntlet travel wise.
They spent a lot of time on the road this past week. So final ended up being Norris 59, Scottsbluff 48. Again, another situation where it was close in the fourth quarter, and then kind of one quick little spurt was able to kind of decide the game. But Scottsbluff got off to a good start. They led 15-10 after the first quarter, and then Norris really settled in the second quarter defensively, held them to 2 of 11 shooting and only 5 points in the second half to kind of flip it, take a 24-20 lead into halftime. They extended that lead out to 9, but Scottsbluff managed to rally and tie it up at 38-38 on the first play of the fourth quarter. And then it was kind of back and forth, and like Shane Hole and Nate Kelly going back and forth, making some big plays. And then Kelly drew Holen's 4th foul on an and 1 to cut it to 3 with a few minutes to go in the game. And Holen sits down. Alex Small steps in for him, and then immediately Norris puts together a 7-0 run, the first 5 by Small, who he went to work in the post and then got another bucket inside, kind of on a broken play situation, and then went 1 and 2 from the free throw line after that. And then I believe Evan Greenfield, got the other bucket there to kind of steal the 7-0 run. And so go from 3 to up 10, and then now that's essentially a ball game. So credit to Small, the Omaha baseball commit, for again stepping up in that moment, because Holen was terrific in the game, bouncing back after his quiet game on Friday against Elkhorn North, where was in foul trouble the entire game, only had 2 points. Huge in this one, and he made a sequence in that fourth quarter where sprinted back in transition and blocked a Nate Kelly layup. Was a block, goaltend? Hard to tell live. They called it good, but just an incredible effort to get back in position to make that play. And then they got the rebound, went out and pushed it, and then he caught and finished for an and 1. So he got a block on one hand and 1 on the other. Just a huge sequence in the fourth quarter. And that's the kind of plays that he's able to make for them, and why he's been such a difference maker for them since he's gotten healthy and added to that lineup. But Chris Garner Jr. ended up with 17 points, 6 boards, 7 of 12 from the field, 3-5 from 3. He went 7 for 9 from 3 in their last 2 games. Went 4 for 4 against Elkhorn North, finished with 31 in that game. He's now shooting over 50% from 3 on the season. He was a career 25% shooter in his first 3 seasons.
Right.
And he was shooting it confidently. He got a couple of friendly shooters rolls as well. And when he's able to stretch it all the way out, in addition to what he does around the basket and from the little mid-range area,
adds a little extra piece.
It makes him so difficult to guard, because he is so good at playing off of his teammates and finding open opportunities, because they've got so many guards that can put the ball on the deck and create an advantage, and he is the primary beneficiary of that. But he had after a really quiet game against Scott, he was phenomenal against Scottsbluff and Elkhorn North. And then Holen finished with 16 points, 7 boards, 2 blocks, also 7 of 12 from the field. And then Evan Greenfield kind of tying it all together, 9 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. And the luxury that Norris has is you've got Greenfield, you've got Holen to defend somebody like Nate Kelly, who is one of the best players in the state. And you've got 2 guys, like one gets tired, one gets foul trouble, swap the other one onto him, and he's going to make him work.
Their depth is key there.
And they're different. Like Greenfield, his hands are so good. His anticipation to poking balls free, getting steals, really just being disruptive, while it's Holen, he's 6'4", longer, can go and recover if you do beat him. Just an athlete, physical. So they've got two of the best, I think, defenders in Class B. on that same team, and they do it a little differently. So that made it a tough matchup for Scottsbluff, especially because the Bearcats weren't knocking down kind of threes. They ended up they ended up 4-19 from three and got some open looks that didn't go down. And when that happens, it's much easier to collapse and make things really tough on Kelly. Mm-hmm. And he's having to try to create everything on his own. He got two defenders around him, and it just gets tough for them to keep up. Finished with 17 points, over 50% shooting, 6 boards, 5 assists. But some turnovers for Scottsbluff down the stretch, and again, not able to knock down the big shots to make the defense pay for collapsing. So, Norris comes out of the week 2-1.
2-1, not bad.
Yeah, the lost this guy, I think. I talked to Coach Jimmy Motes afterward. He was happy with how they handled this week. And, again, they hadn't really been pushed for a bit before this week, so I think this week was really good for them getting ready for the postseason.
It's basically a postseason run. I mean, that's those three you could very much so see.
That'll be tougher than what they're going to face in the state tournament potentially.
Right, because you have a little bit maybe easier of a go depending on their seed in the
they might have to do that road inverse through the state tournament.
Yeah. I mean, Norris, right now, wildcard points, Scott with that win over Norris moves into one. And Scott is on a heater right now. Big time heater. They lost those first 2 games in December, and they haven't lost since. And they've been playing really well. Like they give up 22 points on Friday to Elkhorn. They won 61-22.
Yeah, and that's what they've been doing.
Defensively, that's a thing, right? They gave up they beat Bennington on February 3rd 66-32. Their defense, when it's locked in like that, they're going to be really hard to beat. And they beat Roncalli, who, oh, by the way,
we'll talk about them in a moment.
17-3, and 2 of their 3 are against them.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to
run through the rest of A real quick. Obviously, some changes. Westside up to number 1 after this week, deservedly so.
Westside, Millard North.
Yep.
Yeah, 1 and 2 now.
Yeah, you talk about what Westside has left. Millard North at 2. They've got they beat Omaha North in Westview this week. Beat Westview pretty handily, 17, a team that had been playing pretty well. So that was an impressive win for them. But they've got a heck of a last week here. They've got at Lincoln Southeast Tuesday and at Papio South Friday.
Yeah.
So two tough games to close out the regular season for Millard North. At 16-5, and then Southwest drops down to 3 after the 87-70 loss at Bellevue West earlier in the week, and that's kind of what Austin was alluding to. In addition to the North Star situation, just Southwest taking that loss and then barely holding on.
Yeah, they had to hold on
North,
to beat North. Yeah,
or had to rally to beat North,
and it was at home too.
Yeah. So first that Bellevue West game, Bryce Johnson Jr. was fantastic, and he had a great week for them. But the Twins combined for 29 points on 8 of 25 shooting with 8 turnovers. So we talked about all season long how good they've been and how much the team relies on them. And Bellevue West just was able to take them away better than anybody has, both of them better than anybody has really all season long. Mm-hmm. So that's a credit to Coach Klein and their game plan and what they did there. Dakari Wilson got up to 25 points, but I think some of that was late. Ended up shooting 8 of 14, hit 5 threes. But Southwest shot 12 of 34 inside the arc compared to 23 of 32 for Bellevue West. And turnovers were 15-6. So, again, that credit to Bellevue West. Their game plan, their execution, that is a phenomenal, huge kind of swing there in those 2 areas.
But Bellevue West also has made a little bit of a lineup change, and it's really helped. They brought their 2, I'm not going to call bigs, athletic, longer guys in the starting lineup. And that's really kind of, I think, helped them a little bit more. So then off the bench you have that. But Southwest, there's maybe a little bit of an injury concern there too. So
that's not great.
Yeah, not great. With shooting, that they need to go around the Twins. They need some shooting to go with it. So we'll see how that plays out.
They were down 3 going into the fourth quarter against Omaha North, and then rallied to win the fourth 16-9. So they escaped there with the 4-point win. Zaya had 23 points on 11-13 shooting, but they didn't get a whole lot else outside of him playing particularly well. So they got it done now, and now we'll see how they finish. They've got Central on Friday and then Fremont on Saturday. So Central, that's another tricky one. Like, they got to get back to playing the way they do, because Central's got the guards to kind of match up and play a similar style to what Southwest wants to do.
Yeah, so that'll be that one, and it's at Central too.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that place will be popping.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. I would say that.
I don't think I've ever heard that phrase from you before. Which is that's a fun. You should throw that in there a couple more times.
I saw things got a little with Lincoln High the other day. Got a little chippy at the end of that game with Central. So
it happens.
Yeah, it does. At number 4, Creighton Prep after lone game last week.
Singular.
Yep, 41-38 against Rockhurst on Max Junger's crazy game-winning play.
Yeah.
So it was 38-all with like 15 seconds left. Prep's got the ball. They go inside to Ivan Bamaze with like 5 seconds left. He tries to go up, gets blocked, gets the ball out, pitches it out to Kyle Tubrick, who swung to Max Jungers. The Rockhurst defender like flew by. He shot the passing lane, almost stole the ball. Jungers caught it, spun, shot the 3 with a hand. Like, the dude is right in front of him. He's literally jumping on top of this dude to shoot the 3 at the buzzer and buries it. And that was Rockhurst's first loss of the season.
They were 21-0.
Yeah. Crazy ending to that game. Credit to Prep for kind of keeping their head when things broke down and made all the right plays. And then obviously the most credit goes to Jungers for hitting that shot on a game when nothing really seemed to be going easily for them offensively. Bamaze led the way with 11 points. Prep shot under 40% from the field, but shot 100% on their last shots. That's all that mattered, right?
Prep's won 8 of their last 9.
Yeah.
They're, coming, so.
And, again, obviously they've been shorthanded. You've got
that's even more impressive.
Artie Nash now has kind of slid in the lineup a little bit more with Torzan injured, and obviously Cooper Knight out. It's giving them a little bit.
Hopefully
just another
Knight
body
can
that
get
can
back
play
here for the postseason.
I hope so.
They don't need him this week. The 2 games they should.
Brian and Burke.
Yeah, they should need him for those. So give him a little more rest, but. I don't know, man.
I want to see everybody healthy for the postseason.
Yeah, maybe just take your time the way they're playing, maybe without him. So I don't know. I mean, I obviously don't, would like him to play, and he adds a shooting element that they haven't had. So that's an obvious thing. So
So North Star at 5. You talked about their week, that game against Millard South, and then Bellevue West is at 6.
Yeah, basically everybody kind of stayed the same. The Papios switched and not much else.
Yeah, we mentioned Bryce Johnson in that Lincoln Southwest game. 27 points, 5 assists, 5 steals, 4 rebounds, 8 of 17 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 9 of 12 from the line. Then they got 20 from Braden Morrow, 16 points, 7 rebounds from Pierce Parker, and 11 from Keaton Melcher. And then Johnson followed up with 22 points, 5 assists, 4 steals on 7 of 10 shooting, 3 of 4 from 3, 5 of 8 from the line in a 69-32 win against Bellevue East. So great game for Johnson. And when he's playing at that level, like, they're as good as anybody. Like, they can compete with anybody if Bryce is playing at that level. So Coach Klein has to be feeling good about the week that he had, especially after coming off of the previous week with him there. So hopefully he's kind of locked in for them here as we head into the postseason. They've got Benson and Fremont to close out the week. And then, just a little bit of shuffling with the Papios, although Connor Falkenberg, 33 points, went 9 of 13 from 3 in a game last week for the Titans. Phenomenal performance. We talked about, hey, he's a swing guy for them, and monster game there. And then Central and Southeast remained at 9 and 10. Nothing outside of the big games that we talked about. Nothing really changed in B. Outside of, obviously, Scott rising to number 1, Norris dropping to 2. Elkhorn North remained at 3 despite the loss to Norris, which fair.
Yeah.
Scottsbluff remained at 4 despite the loss to wasn't this flipped? Scottsbluff was 3 and Elkhorn North was 4 last week. So yeah. So those 2 flipped either way. They both lost to Norris. So they're both definitely top 4 teams. Wahoo Gretton East flipped. I don't know,
really,
but Roncalli beat Bennington, so they jumped up to 7. That was kind of the other game in Class B of note outside of the Norris games. 58-55 for that win. So Roncalli jumped ahead, and like you said, they're 17-3 now. So Chad Mustard and the staff doing a great job there for Roncalli.
Seeing them at Mount Michael, I was pretty impressed. They're doing a really good job. So I mean, Roncalli's 3 losses are 2 of them to Scott, and then they lost to Ashland in December. Yeah. In Ashland's holiday tournament, and it was bad. It was 66-26, but in their losses, okay. Roncalli's 3 losses. They scored 26, 32, and 29
against 2 really good defensive teams.
Yes.
So that is kind
of obviously that's a
something they have to figure out.
Yeah, you got to get to 50, I think, to win if you're Roncalli. Well, they won a game 42-39 this year and 48-40.
Yeah, games to watch in B: Scott versus Aurora, top 10, 1 versus Thursday 9 on Thursday. Aurora 18-4, plugging along there. Mm-hmm. Cannon Allen, senior there. Jackson Slagle is coming on as a sophomore. Elkhorn North and Doniphan-Trumbull. So Doniphan-Trumbull goes out this season. After the tough stretch they've had, why not go play Elkhorn North?
Right.
So that one is on Friday, and then
Elkhorn North goes to Northwest Grand Island on Thursday, and then returns. Yeah, that's a quick kind of. That bus.
No, they had to go through it this week ish. So
it's a school night though.
Correct.
They probably have school on Friday.
Yeah,
all that.
But and then finally the kind of round 3 of the Gretna battle, Gretna versus Gretna East. The first 2 were close, 55-52, 57-52 for Gretna East. We'll see if the Dragons can kind of take the third and final meeting there in the regular season. In C1, just top not a whole lot of changes there. As Concordia jumped ahead of Doniphan-Trumbull after the DT loss.
Yeah.
But
Mount Michael jumps back in.
Yeah, at 9.
Yeah, which it's fine. Yeah.
And games to watch.
Mount Michael beat DC West. That's probably why they moved back up.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that was Friday night. We'll see Ogallala after the week that they just had. Can they get they got Gothenburg on Friday. So top 10 team, game. Good team there. So kind of see how they bounce back from the big week, the big game they just had. And then you mentioned DC West. DC West and Concordia at 6 versus 7 on Friday as well. So that should be a fun one. Beyond that,
C2,
not a whole lot.
Well, C2 Johnson Brock moved up because they beat
Freeman. Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of them moving up, and then North Bend's kind of just
coming along.
Yeah.
Cash Annis had a big game. I think hit 7 threes in a game last week for them. And then
I will say this about Valentine Sneaky. Like that's a team that a couple of coaches were like, hey, I think they're pretty good. So that's one to keep an eye on.
Mention Isaac Cronin for them has had a monster season, had some really big games. D1 Howells-Dodge hanging in there at number 1, 1,
Lutheran,
2, 3, same.
Yeah.
But McCool Junction made a jump up to number 4 from number 10. They got a win last week. East Butler is there at 5, so bit of shake up here.
Moving back,
when this class, there are a lot of teams that can rack up some great records.
So McCool had a win against EMF, and that's
what it was.
Yeah.
So good win for them, and then East Butler there at 21-1 back in midway through, and then it's kind of the same characters after that, and then D2 St. Mary's won. Obviously, the top 4 remain the same. Sacred Heart jumped ahead of Deschler, but so not a whole lot of the changes. I
think we feel pretty good about D2 and those 3 teams, and you want to be which you want to be the one pretty bad because the semi game is going to be really good with the other one.
Yeah,
if you're the 2-3 matchup, so that's
Yep. We're heavy on boys this week, but there was one girls game that Austin and I were both at that we need to talk about last week. A clash of reigning state champions. Five straight titles between the two of them.
Yes.
And Lincoln Christian hosted Pender, which really cool that this game happened. Standalone, like girls doubleheader. The JV played first and on the main court, and then the varsity play. There were no boys games in this one, so the girls kind of got the prime time treatment. I know Coach Pender even mentioned how they like the starting lineups announcements for the JV team, which they don't normally do in their game. So just kind of made it feel like a big deal, which is what a matchup like this deserves. So credit for these two teams for scheduling this. Although Coach Pender, who took over in September, didn't really know how it happened because
that was
it was already on the schedule before he got the job. So
literally got the job September 25th, and then he said he looked at the schedule and goes, "Oh, Pender."
Yeah, look at that.
Sweet.
Heck of a way to close out the regular season for these two. And Lincoln Christian got the win. Fantastic day. It was a close game down the stretch. In the end, the thing I was most impressed with by Pender or by Lincoln Christian was their defensive attention to detail and their understanding of the scouting report and what Pender wanted to do. Like they were jumping, they're there for all the spin moves for Hadley Walsh. They were staying down on the pump fakes. They were sticking a hand in the passing lane on those drop-offs that they're so good at. They were chasing them off the three-point line. Just a really, really impressive defensive performance for Christian because Pender is a really good offensive team, and they're typically able to, even when they're not shooting well, to pick you apart with the players that they have, and Walsh kind of in the center of that. And Lincoln Christian was just sitting on everything that Pender likes to do.
Yeah, it's the first time that I've seen Pender this year in person where they didn't control or not really just the outcome of the game, but the pace of the game and how it was definitely transgressing on the floor too. Oakland Creighton going to be their toughest battle when they get down there for the state tournament too. But this is a great matchup for both sides. I think they both learned a lot before they get to the state tournament.
Well, and when we talked to Coach Pender, like Pender built a 10-point lead early. They hit him with a big run. Hadley Walsh had, was it 11-0 run? Hadley Walsh had 9 of that, 2 threes, and a 3-point lay. And they had something similar against Lincoln Pius X, their only loss previously, where they fell behind early, and they kind of got back into it, but they had to exert so much energy, and they weren't able to finish that game out. And Coach said he learned from that loss. He's a first-year, so he took over. Yeah. He's never been the high school varsity coach. He's been a club coach. Right. And just kind of fell into the job. They needed somebody, and now he's got 2 daughters on the team, and here they are, 21-1 or 20-1 now, whatever they are, just kind of plugging right along despite losing two of the best players in program history last year. That last year's unbeaten team was built around with Maddie Kasbaum and Kenna Ailes, and those took on so much for them. So to have the returners step up and carry the load, and they've got good balance. I mean, in this game, they had 15 points, 8 boards from Sam Dierking. They had 13 points, 3 steals, 3 assists for Grisha Holland, just a sophomore. I was really impressed, or just a freshman. I mean, I was really impressed with the way that she played. Jessie Heiser, 12 points, 6 boards. Macy Pitniger had 12 points. And she had kind of the dagger layup late. Pender had a chance to get back into it and ran down the shot clock, and Pender got to the basket and threw in a tough angle, little like floater at the rim to kind of essentially seal the game there. So really impressive all-around performance for Lincoln Christian. Hadley Walsh had 19 points, 9 rebounds, but they had nobody else really get going. Again, Christian did not give Madeline Dolver any good looks from 3. She only hit 1. It was a step back. Like they were staying home on her, did not give her good looks, was not ever able to get into a rhythm. So, both teams, they're going to be fine going to the postseason. They'll both be better for this game, and it was really cool that game happened.
I'll just say one thing about C1. It is C1 girls is, outside of Class A boys, probably the toughest draw. From a depth standpoint, it's hard.
That's good. That's a great point.
Lincoln Christian, Milford, Malcolm, those are 3. And then I watch Raymond Central and Fort Calhoun, 2 teams that
having great seasons,
having great seasons, haven't lost a lot. And that was a hectic game. And I'm like, hey, then I look and I'm like, oh, their sub district or whatever is like this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how you're good teams. Yeah. I mean, Raymond Central looks like a bunch of track athletes out there running, and Fort Calhoun plays super fast, and it was a crazy hectic environment, and it just was one of those things. I'm then I looked a little deeper after, and I was like, oh my gosh, C1 girls is really hard.
Yeah, I think you look at it too, and you could easily say right now that if in 3 weeks we see another Milford-Lincoln Christian rematch, you wouldn't be shocked, but you would look back at the tournament and just be like, okay, how did these two teams get here? Because they would have to go through quite a few good teams to be able to get
like
there.
Omaha Nations,
yes,
like good, like there's teams that are pretty good. Like you go all the way down to probably like the top.
We can even add
13.
like Gothenburg in there. Like they would be like an underrated one. Like I'm sure there's plenty of teams that I want to see them.
Like the top, I'll say like you get to like 12, 13, and you're like, a lot of these teams are going to be left out that are actually pretty good.
Those district final matchups are going to be very important next week.
Yeah, I mean sub-district stuff is hard for them. C1 girls is a bear. Like it's not easy. Whoever wins it is very much so earned it. Like it's. Wowzers. I just want to throw that in there about the girls' side. So, all right, shout-outs.
Yep, let's close this episode out. Few games here where competition level needs to be noted, but you still credit for making the shots. Cody Kilgore, senior, Heston Fay. Another 40-piece, 42 points, 14 of 29 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3. 10 of 12 from the line, so scored in every way you can think of there. 7 rebounds, including 5 on the offensive end, 7 steals, and 2 assists in an 81-43 win against Ulrichs out of South Dakota. Another 40-piece for Johnson County Central senior Wes Swanson in a 70-24 win over Pawnee City. Had 40 on 14 of 18 from the field, including 6 of 7 from 3, with 6 steals, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. And then another one where we had someone outscore the other team is Houston senior Houston Biller, 33 points, 12 of 22 from the field, 9 of 11 from the line, 14 rebounds, 5 steals, 3 assists, and a block in a 70-25 win at Axtell. And he surpassed 1,500 career points in the game. Good. So
that's a lot of points.
He has produced a lot. Their record book in all their sports is just going to be builder everywhere.
Still got time to go.
Yeah, and obviously his sister's a really good volleyball player as well. So just you show up there at Southwest, it's going to be builder all over their record books.
Well, to be fair, his dad has a lot of the records at Loomis, so they're just going school to school, just seeing how many of them they can fill up.
All right, in a Columbus battle, SCOTUS against Lakeview, SCOTUS Central Catholic senior Carson Wessel had 29 points on 8 of 13 from the field, including 2 of 3 from 3 and 11 of 14 from the line. Grabbed 13 rebounds with an assist and a steal in a 61-55 win. So you had the Columbus bragging rights game there. And then finally, St. Paul sophomore Bobby Rojo, 36 points on 12 of 13 from the field, including 11 of 12 from 3. Also had an and one. And then he only had 1 rebound. That's the only other stat. So I appreciate dude just out there straight for buckets. Just out there launching. Yeah, he knows his job. Yeah. 83-40 win at Ravenna. He is the 21st player ever to hit 11 or more threes in a game. The record is 14 by Damon Rother out of Central Valley.
Yeah.
So heck of a shooting performance there for just a sophomore at St. Paul.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for this week's episode of Nebraska Preps Postgame.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.